Hi there, Color Your World Journal Club members. We're welcome to our second interview in our series with special guest. Today we have Shelley Hitz. Hi, Shelley.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Annette.
Thank you for being here and joining us. Well, Shelley's an author coach and a business strategist. She is on a mission to help you reach more people with your message. Which I love that is her mission. She's coached thousands of authors through her books, training programs, online events, seminars, and many more things. And one of the things that Shelley does that I thought some of y'all might be interested in, she does a free 7-day writing challenge. And Shelley, do you have anything you'd like to add about that? I know they can learn more at writingweek.com.
Yeah, I would love for you to join us. It's free. A lot of people have really benefited from it. You get a free $27 software. So just go try it, sign up, see what you think. You know, if you're interested in just doing more writing and being more productive with your writing and that sort of thing, I'd love to help you with that.
So it's not just for authors per se.
Yeah, I mean, I work with authors, but whatever writing you do, you can apply some of the things to your journaling writing. For instance, one of the things I teach you is how to write in the way that works best for you. So the environment you work in and the type of writing you do and just all these different things, it's going to help you just really zone in and really know what's going to work best for you. So I like to say, don't try to shove a round peg into a square hole. We're all different. And even when it comes to journaling, we're all different. We all do it differently. And it's going to, we're going to be at our best at different places, different times, different things. And so it may help you even just with that.
Oh, see, I love that. That's so true. It's journaling, you're right. It's different for everybody. And even ourselves in different seasons of our life, how we journal and the approach we take to it or how it's helpful. It varies. So yeah, honestly, that's great. Well, so this month's theme, we have 12 journals in our Color Your World series, Shelley, and so I'm picking one of them each month, one of the themes, and just focusing on that with some journaling prompts the gals might use, and special guests that can just speak to that. So for you I think that resonated with you in some way. I was asking different gals that would be interested in being interviewed to pick a topic, and you chose what I love most. And so maybe tell us a little bit why that spoke to you and how that's especially in relation to any journaling that you've done.
Yeah, I just really have come into a season of self-care and really just learning to not neglect myself and the things that I love. I'm very much a driven person. Like on the Strength Finders 2.0 test, I am achiever activator. So I am driven, and I can be a workaholic. And so the last year, it was June of 2016, I really started getting into art. It started because I added coloring pages to my book, Broken Crayons Still Color. So it was an action, getting things done. But it turned into realizing I love this. I haven't done this since junior high, and I love it. And now I have an art studio in my home. But I think, just really being able to journal and become more self-aware and be able to process to know it's like, what are the things that I love? What is life-giving to me? And it's okay, it's okay to, and it's really healthy to do those things and to have those life-giving things. I used to be a physical therapist, and I talked to my patients sometimes, like, I was almost like I was a counselor sometimes, but, I worked in a factory and I would treat patients that had injuries, and I would say, it's kind of like you have this green light and a red light. Green light are those things that you love, that are life-giving, that you just come away from and you're just like, yes, it fills your heart. And then you have those other things that are like the red light. So for them, working in a factory was like a red light. So I always encourage them to have other things, other hobbies that they did that they loved. So a lot of them did gardening or reading or playing with their grandkids or whatever. And so that's what this month is all about, is really journaling, getting clear, and just finding those things that you really love. And so I don't know, I love the topic.
That's awesome. Well, I know you love being outdoors because you post a lot of pictures when you're outdoors. You're from Colorado, I should have said, and so you have lots of beautiful scenery all around you. How does that inspire your journaling?
Yeah, I love just
Right.
being in nature. And so I think journaling can look different at different times. So
Yeah.
it's not always for me just writing in a notebook. Sometimes it is. I have a lot of different, journal types of journals here, and I can talk about that if we have time. But, sometimes when I'm in nature, I will just, record things in my phone. And
Mhm.
so like I will dictate into Evernote or Google Docs as I'm
Mhm.
walking, just thoughts that come to me or things that I'm processing. And there was one time in particular, my husband wanted to run to the top of a 14,000-foot mountain. I was
Wow.
like, you go for it, but I'm going to just hike around the bottom here. And it was just one of those times. I had no cell phone coverage at the time, but I just had time to pause, make space. And I think that's what we do when we journal. We make
Mhm.
space for processing and reflecting, and just whether it's reflecting on ourselves and the things that we love, or whether it's listening to God in prayer. But I was just making space for that reflection. And there was something I was really struggling with my Author Audience Academy members. A lot of them were struggling to get their books done, and I just really wanted to help them. And it was during that time, just out in nature, just away from all the distractions, that I really got clarity. And I really got clear on what I was to do. And that's when I created Writing Week. The idea for Writing Week came when I was out in the middle of the woods hiking, and I started taking notes in my phone, started dictating notes. And I had those, it's like journaling, and then I had that when I came back into my office. But I think journaling can look so much, different in different ways. Sometimes I take my notebooks and pens to
Mhm.
places in nature, and, I love to do that too. But yeah, nature is just so refreshing for me.
Yeah, no, I love that because, I know I talk to different ladies that, that really feel like they have this desire and need to journal. And it's almost like trying to force it to happen, in the
Yeah.
your desk or just, wherever. And it's like the ideas aren't coming and inspiration's not coming. But I love that idea of, I know it's helped me too, to get out somewhere out in nature or someplace that you love,
Yeah.
sort of that location, that view that you love. And it just helps to bring that fresh perspective.
Yeah. And lately this year, my word is listen and be
Mhm.
still. And I really feel like I need to be listening more. And I'm such an activator, action taker, that it's easy for me to run ahead of even God at sometimes.
Yes.
So I was just praying about it, and I get so distracted because I work at home. I live here. I have my art studio is here. So then I'll get an idea for doing an art, or I'll get an idea for work, and I get so distracted. And so recently my friend just forwarded me this email. It was for this prayer workshop. I went there. Well, anyways, this ministry, they have these prayer grottos. They have like 12 different little individual rooms. It has a desk and chair, has 2 comfy chairs, and you can reserve them for free anytime. And it was like God was saying, Shelley, I'm providing a place for you to listen, and to
Wow.
journal. And I take my journals, I take my little travel paints and my markers, and I just have a place. So, if you don't have a place, pray, ask God, realize there are a multitude. It could be a park, it could be a library, but it never astounds me when God provides for me in a very specific way. And I've been enjoying like every week going there now and taking my journals. And it's just such a really good time because I'm not distracted with all my other things.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I do think that's good to find that wherever that spot is, that is away from your distractions and all the busy, the busy of your life and the crazy. For me, I'd say the crazy in my life,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Or just turn off your phone for 10 or 15 minutes or
Think like
whatever.
what you just said, that's sort of like,
Yeah.
oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could turn my phone off.
Yeah, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes,
Yeah.
the world's not going to fall apart. Because what I find is when I'm journaling and my phone is there and it goes boom, boom, and I have it on vibrate, but I see it, I see
Yeah.
something, or put it away, put it in another room.
Uh-huh.
But, just being able to you know, decrease the distractions. And I talk a lot about that to writers because writing is a creative outlet. And when there's actual research on the brain, when we're constantly getting interrupted, whether it's a notification on the phone or we're checking this, we're doing this or whatever, have to text this person back. It's like, it breaks that flow of creativity. So yeah, just the simple thing of, let me just turn off my phone for a few minutes.
That is like great advice. Really
it's so simple.
That is simple. That, you know, it's like, yeah. So have you been journaling all your life pretty much, or in some way, or maybe it's probably taken different forms? I know it has for me too. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not your typical journaler. I mean, I'm a very prolific writer. I have over 50 books, but I've never been the typical journaler. But it was, I had a diary when I was little, you know, when I was in like middle school.
Yeah.
And then I think, you know, it was in my 20s. I was going through a really hard time and I went to some counseling, and the counselor recommended journaling. And I was like, oh, I'm not a journaler. And at the time, I didn't even think I was a writer. You know, here I am now teaching authors. But I realized the power, because I'm a very feeling oriented person. Everyone's different, but I can just get in this spiral of just like these whirling thoughts and emotions, and I just can't get off of that crazy train. And when I put pen to paper and I start writing it down, all of a sudden I can start getting out of that cycle of crazy, and I can, or, you know, anxiety or worry or whatever it is. And all of a sudden my words, just writing it down, it helps me to start processing the emotions and actually be able to move through it instead of getting stuck, you know? And so I've just found it so powerful for me to process and to really work through when I'm having hard times, or I just need clarity on something, when I really need clarity for my business, or when I need clarity for my marriage, or whatever it is. You know, it just really has been something like that for me. So I journal in different ways at different times. Sometimes in my journals, I'll write out affirmations. So this is one of the journals I have, and it's a nicer journal, but I have written out in here some different affirmations, and I can just go through here and I can read them out. And I tend to do affirmations like prayers, you know, so sometimes I do that. This is more of a journal for like my day-to-day stuff, like with my business and just processing business stuff. This was more of like a two-way journal. So like I was like praying and listening to God and hearing from him. And then this journal in particular, just the real cheap kind, you know, I have my gratitude lists. So I had 3 things that I would write down every day about just something I was grateful for. And gratitude, you know, is a great thing to journal about. So I've done that before. And I actually have a book called The Gratitude Journal that, you know, just came out of a season where I was really struggling with self-pity. And I started doing that. I started journaling and writing out 3 things I was grateful for. And I would write a handwritten note to someone every day for 21 days that I was thankful for, that had made an impact in my life. So, you know, journaling looks very different for me, and it's different in different seasons. But that's what I love about it. It's so life-giving. And it doesn't have to look any certain way for any certain person. How it's going to look for you is going to maybe be different than how it looks for me. And it looks different for me in every season.
Yeah, me too. I love that you've got different journals for, you know, that you have kind of assigned to different things. I mean, that's the whole point of what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Journal series, you know, because I mean, I've always journaled in some way for different reasons and seasons. Yes, it's like you, and then I'd be like, what journal did I write this in? I'll have something, I'm like, I don't know which one it's in, and I'm, you know, looking and looking. So that was sort of the idea. It's like, well, you know, maybe we'll have a kind of a theme for each journal. You know, I've got the set of 12, and you know, and then I you know, it's not like we're only writing in like this month's featured, what I love most. You can write in any of your journals at any point in time, but, you know, follow that theme so you can find what you wrote later.
I know that is hard sometimes. I've done that before. I've dug through all my journals. I'm like, where did I write this? I know I have it.
Well, Shelley, so just as we're kind of wrapping up our time together today, what would you say to someone who's maybe journaling for the first time, or they've never kept a journal? Do you have any particular additional thoughts to share with them? Some of the girls in the club are just they've never journaled before. This is brand new for them.
I just want to say, you know, and just give you the freedom to be you. You know, there are a lot of different ways to journal. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but be you. You know, don't try to be like someone else. Don't try to force yourself to journal like Annette does, or like I do, or like someone else does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, find what works for you. And I like to say, you know, don't try to shove a round peg into a square hole. You know, God's created you to be you. He's created you unique. He's given you different ways. And so, you know, journaling is a really powerful thing, and it can really help you, and it can add so much value in so many different ways. But just find what works for you and enjoy it. Yeah. Like, allow it to be life-giving and not something that's pressure or performance or I need to do it a certain way, but just enjoy it.
That's great. That's great advice. Perfect advice. And a perfect way to conclude our little chat here. So thank you so much, Shelley. I really appreciate your time. And I know that the gals are going to really, really get a lot from what you shared with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I always love talking about writing, and journaling is definitely part of that. So thank you for having me.
You bet. Well, thanks again, Shelley. Bye.
Bye-bye.